Hello, it's Martin from Wisely Automotive and I'm about to deliver this Polestar 2. It's the first ever facelift we had in stock, and yes, they've been out for a while now, but because of that they are now starting to trickle onto the used car market and there are some great deals out there. So in this video we will discuss everything there is to know about it, the visual changes, what's hiding under the bonnet, because there are quite a few technical revisions as well, and given this is a delivery video, we should hopefully get a good idea of what kind of range and efficiency you should expect in the real world and whether it's worth spending the extra money for the younger models. Okay, before I set off, let's quickly run you through the visual changes because there truly are not that many. The overall shape and silhouette of the car is completely unchanged. The biggest differentiating factor is right here in the front, because we have got this blank out grille. From a detailing perspective, this is much easier to clean and probably cheaper for Polestar to manufacture. And following the brand kind of design language, the sensors for the driving assistance systems are now grouped here in the middle and they are also labeled. So this is where the radar lives. It used to live in the same location before as well, but it was integrated into the kind of more open grille. And this car having the pilot package, you've got the front camera for the 360 view. Going round, not much to report on. The wheel designs and color palette is very similar to before, if not unchanged. You've got the same big opening for the boot and the horizontal light bar in the back. The interior is practically unchanged. You've got the same steering wheel, the same kind of central tunnel layout with this slightly unfortunate cup holder situation, but it is what it is. This car being equipped with a Plus package, you've got the upgraded upholstery on the seats, the panoramic sunroof, the matte wood trims and the Harman Kardon sound system. But you may have noticed the range estimate on the dashboard is looking quite optimistic, at least by Polestar standards. And that's because we have a whole new drivetrain with a bigger battery and it should be more efficient as well. So to test it out, let's reset the trip computer and actually start driving. I'm set up just the way I like it. The sat-nav is saying that I will get to the customer's village with 14% still in the battery, so this will be a nice challenge. It's important to say we are not starting with a full charge. I only have 78% in the battery. One pedal driving is on, and I will put the map into my instrument cluster as well.
This route avoids a slowdown on the A201 and then roadworks on the A3203.
Thank you very much. And it's quite chilly outside, so I definitely want the heating working, maybe like 21 degrees. Heated seat on low and heated steering wheel on as well, but definitely not on full blast. The heated steering wheel on these Polestars is definitely designed for Scandinavian countries. It's absolutely boiling, but love that. So yeah, CarPlay connected as well, so if I get any WhatsApp messages I can reply to those. So yeah, I think that's about it.
You'll arrive at Yapol with less than 3% battery.
Now it thinks that I will do a little bit worse in range, so we will see. That's because obviously I turned on the heating. This Polestar range prediction tends to be quite accurate. We are passing by our old showroom right here. But yeah, worst case scenario, we will stop somewhere along the way to charge. I'm going to be driving along the M40, which is a very good route for charging stops. There's lots of charging hubs in, for example, Banbury and so on. So I'm not concerned for range at all. And obviously I don't want to drop the car off absolutely on fumes. What I can comment on while I'm stuck in London traffic is the drivetrain calibration at these low speeds, and that has remained unchanged. That's a very good thing. If you actually go back and watch our original review of the Polestar 2, one which I picked up from Scotland, you will see that I really praise the Polestar for how smooth the drivetrain is. And despite the motor being new in here, it's calibrated to the same standard. If you're not aware, with Polestars, there is not even a choice of a sport or chill or eco mode when it comes to the power delivery. The accelerator pedal has quite a long throw in the beginning, so you need to push it quite deep down just to start moving very smoothly. But then when you put your foot really down, you get all the power. So you've got the benefit of both smoothness at low speeds, but maximum power without having to fiddle with the screen and changing modes, etc. Likewise, the transition from power to regen, and when you are slowing down using the one pedal driving, it's absolutely perfect, and it can stop even on a downhill. The car will apply physical brakes to help it slow down, but the transition is very seamless. This is not a jerky system. One thing which has changed for the better is the interface in the instrument cluster, specifically when you are in Google Maps view. This is all thanks to updates to Google Maps itself, and this carries over across all Polestars actually. So just make sure that you update all of your apps in the Google Play Store and also the vehicle firmware using the settings menu. But basically now you get a view of 3D buildings in the instrument cluster, and the whole map interface and the colors, it just seems a little bit more sophisticated. Also, depending on your area, you will also get traffic lights displayed in there as well, so it's easier to navigate kind of busy cities. You know exactly which intersection you need to take a turn in. And secondly, I hope this comes across on camera, but if you look very closely at the bottom of the screen, you now have this little pill-shaped information bubble which shows you the time to your destination, the ETA, and how many miles you have left to cover. This used to be the case only for Apple Maps, ironically, when you were running Apple CarPlay. Make sure to check that video out as well, which we have done on CarPlay and all the software bits in the Polestar 2. But it seems like Polestar and Google have listened to feedback and have now implemented this into Google Maps as well, which is very nice to see. On the software front, we also have a whole new version of Android behind the scenes. You can't really see it at a glance because the home screen is identical to before, but if we go into settings, and just for the record, I will go into System and Software Update first, so you can see that the car thinks we are on the latest version, which is 3.1.9, with the 3-dot versions. If we go into About, you will see that this is now running Android 12. It just basically ensures compatibility with apps going forward and security updates. However, I have heard rumors that Polestar 2s, all of them, including the pre-facelifts, will potentially be updated to the same new interface which we see on the latest Volvo products, with the kind of next generation of infotainment system, like the EX90, for example, where you've got map as your home screen and then little tiles at the bottom for your media controls, for example. But I don't think that's confirmed as of right now, so we will see how that goes. But that's one of the benefits of these cars, which can be updated over the air. They can keep getting better over time, and it doesn't cost you anything. I probably have 1 hour of London traffic left ahead of me, so let me just battle through that, and I will catch up with you when something interesting happens. Finally got through the Hammersmith flyover, which means that I'm actually doing a decent speed, above 30 miles per hour for the first time since I left the office. So let's take a look at the kind of urban efficiency from a cold start. 28.0 kilowatt hours per 100 miles. So let's ask Google. Okay, Google, calculate 1000 divided by 280.
The answer is approximately 3.571429.
Over 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour. I know it doesn't sound that good, but stop and go traffic, cold start, heating on, no compromise driving, not trying to hypermile or anything like that. I think that's pretty good. Just for reference, on my way into the car park this morning with my wisely issued ID3, I achieved less than 3 miles per kilowatt hour off the top of my head. So this is definitely not a bad number, and I'm expecting it to get better going forward, because if you look at the state of charge at destination prediction, that has gone up to 10% now, and I haven't changed any of the climate settings. The speed has been increasing gradually, but the consumption has ironically gone down. Now only 26.2 kilowatt hours per 100 miles, and we are officially joining the motorway, so national speed limit. I will enable the cruise control, set it to 70 miles per hour. As I said, we are not kind of hypermiling today. I have to be at the customer at 2 p.m. and the ETA is saying 2 p.m. so we will not hang about. But yeah, definitely love the adaptive cruise control in a Polestar 2. It's part of the Pilot package, unfortunately still not standard, but the Pilot Lite package is no more, which means the pixel LED headlights are back. So finally, if you want to get a young Polestar 2, you can get one which has the matrix lights. I featured these in the initial review I did from Scotland, and many of our customers who have been in touch since then have been requesting cars with the matrix lights, but unfortunately due to supply shortages, Polestar discontinued them for a brief period of time, for a couple of years, but now they are back. So if you really want it all, you don't have to compromise by going for an older Polestar 2 to get all of the gadgets on board. And I will also enable the pilot assist, which is doing the lane centering for me. And yeah, I just have to sit here and relax. I always thought Polestar 2s were fantastic motorway cruisers. The level of refinement is good. The suspension is a little bit softer than a Model 3 because we don't have frameless windows. There's a bit less aerodynamic noise. So lots of positive points. The previous problem was they didn't have quite as much range as Tesla's, and they charged a bit slower. But with this bigger battery pack, the charging should be addressed. It can now do up to 200 kilowatts of peak charging power. With the Google Maps, it can do on-route preconditioning, and obviously you have great confidence in how much you will arrive with. And combined with the new, more efficient motor, it means you should have fewer and shorter charging stops. I just arrived at my pit stop. No, the car didn't need charging. I'm actually doing much better than the prediction. It's still at 35%. I just need to use the bathroom. But this is a good opportunity to take a look at the efficiency figures. Let's go in. 285 watt-hour per mile. So, calculator out. 1000 divided by 285. That's about 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour, and now the new battery pack has 79 kilowatt hours of usable energy, so well over 260 miles of range in the real world at only 13 degrees Celsius outside. I splashed in about 10 kilowatt hours worth of energy just to leave the customer with enough range and so he can start using the car immediately. But I saved the best feature or the aspect of this refresh for last, for these country roads, because Polestar and Volvo listened and they switched these cars to rear-wheel drive. So it's interesting because it's the same platform as you saw, looks the same from the outside, but by default the motor now lives on the rear axle and it's a more powerful motor. So I always used to say that the all-wheel drive was my pick of the range. It had more power and the perfect 50-50 power distribution meant it had very neutral handling characteristics. However, our customers definitely disagreed because by far the most popular drivetrain variant was the big battery single motor front wheel drive. It made sense, it's the one which gave you the most range, and it was not ridiculously expensive to insure like the all-wheel drive would have been, because it had only 170 kilowatts of power. However, for this refresh, I am changing my answer. The all-wheel drive with the kind of performance upgrade, that's still available, but the single motor now makes more sense than ever. Not only do you still get the benefits of the longest range in this variant out of all of them now, it still should be quite sensible to insure. By the way, in the UK we are going through a massive vehicle insurance system change, so the 1 through 50 groups, that will no longer be a thing going forward. It will be a more complex system to assess the performance, active safety systems, repairability of a vehicle, etc. But even then the Polestars should do quite well. And with the new motor being more powerful, it doesn't really feel like you are lacking that much compared to the all-wheel drive. Even if you need to overtake on these country lanes or merge onto a motorway from quite a low speed, it will pull you through without any problems. And being rear-wheel drive, when you put your foot down, obviously the weight of the vehicle shifts onto the rear axle, so you will not struggle for grip as much as you used to with the front-wheel drive. But having said that, I'm willing to go on record and say that the Polestar 2 is the best front-wheel drive EV. The power delivery tuning was very well done. We never really had any major issues with them kind of struggling for grip or torque steering too much, but at the same time, the power wasn't too restricted like with some other EVs. For example, the Renault Megane E-Tech only really unleashes full potential once you get past kind of 30-40 miles per hour. Yeah, the power is definitely there, and it's definitely more happy to rotate thanks to being rear-wheel drive. It just feels a lot more kind of natural. It doesn't feel like you're fighting the car all the time. We have a lovely BMW i4 ahead of us, this car's competitor. We have done a review of the i4 on the channel, in fact, so you can check it out in the link in the top right-hand corner. I've arrived at the customer's village, and it's beautiful and absolutely peaceful in here, so let me be very quick with the conclusion. Thanks to the lower speeds towards the end of the trip, the efficiency settled at 26.7 kWh per 100 miles, so about 3.7 miles per kWh. So I think, considering that most of the journey was done on the motorway, that's quite good, especially considering that the Polestar never had a reputation for being an efficiency champion, like something like the Model 3 or Hyundai Ioniq, for example. So that means when you do the math, it translates to about 300 miles of real-world range from 100% of the battery. And that's clearly in line with what we expect here. So the range assistant is showing 100 miles remaining based on my previous driving style. The rated range is 110 miles on 34%. So this really is what you should expect. In terms of the rest of the car, great that it's rear-wheel drive. Lots of little improvements here and there. And over the updates, keeping even the older Polestars fresh. This is how a facelift should be done in our eyes. And that's where I'm going to leave it. It's only up to you to decide whether it's worth the extra money if you are shopping for these on the used market. If you want to do more research about the Polestar 2, make sure to check out our full Polestar 2 playlist. And if you don't want to miss any EV content, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thank you again, and see you in the next one.